If you ever show up to the gym and just can't figure out what is going on with your shot, I'm gonna show you how to fix your jumper in the next 10 minutes. I'm gonna go over the 4 main problems that I see in shooters and then 4 drills to help correct those problems. My name is Brianna Joy Garza. I'm a professional shooting coach, and this is Fixing Your Jumper in 10 minutes. The first problem I see is a combination of 2 things. One, it's having all 10 of your toes, your hips, and your chest squared at the rim. This causes 2 things. One, this causes a rotation sometimes to get into the shot, and 2, causes athletes to finish with their arm across their face. The reason they finish like this is because they're following through straight down on target. But because my chest is square at the rim, we have this arm across face action. So first common shooting problem, how to fix your jumper in the next 10 minutes, is just to turn your entire body slightly to the side. We see this in 99% of professional shooters. We do not see pro shooters shoot 10 toes to the rim. We actually see them shoot with a slight tilt in their body. This way they can go up their shooting slide and finish straight down their line instead of across their face. And one drill we can use to help us orient ourselves and line ourselves up with our target are called line drops. We're taking you off the rim so you don't get feedback from the rim. We just get feedback from our body. So we want our shooting side lined up with our target, and we are going to turn our entire body just slightly. And from here, we're trying to shoot the ball into the air so that it lands directly on the line about 2 feet in front of us. And so as you're shooting, study, am I missing more to the left of the line? Am I shooting straight down on the line? Or am I missing more to the right? This will help us orient our body to shoot straighter and straighter instead of across our face. The second most common problem I see in shooters is their wrist being unloaded when they start their shot. By unloaded, I mean that this part of your wrist is either straight and flat or sticking out. What happens here is if your wrist is unloaded, that means at some point in your shot, you're going to have to load and get under it. This complicates our mechanism of shooting. We don't want to load later because sometimes that means we might be loading down here, sometimes that might be loading up here, and we want to keep our shot as consistent and as simple as possible. So instead of loading our wrist late and having an unloaded wrist at the start, we need to have our wrist loaded as soon as our hands touch the ball. A good way to feel this is to hold a cup of coffee or a water bottle next to you, and that engagement on the inside of your wrist is going to be the same feeling as loading your wrist. Your hand will point slightly across the basketball, not behind the basketball. That would mean you're loading on both sides of your wrist. So we don't want your hand behind. It's totally fine for your arms to be relaxed and your hand loaded, but hand pointing across your body. This allows me to come up and into my shooting position here without having to change anything about my hands on the way up. This will give me a more consistent, repeatable shot. 2 drills we can use to help our wrist loading. One is without the basket yet. These are just called catch and lifts. Just like they sound, you're going to catch the ball with your hands loaded and see if you can get right into your lift action with your hands prepped the way they are supposed to be. So you're just catching and lifting, seeing if you can get good hands on the basketball, good loaded wrist action on the basketball each time. Once you get comfortable with your catch and lifts, you can now move this to something called in and ups. What you're gonna do is you're gonna load your legs right in form shooting range to a basket. You're going to extend your arms out in front of you, hands already loaded, and you're gonna go slow into the body, slow up from here, and when the ball reaches your face is when you unlock your legs. So putting that all together, again, we're focusing on wrist engagement. We're going slow in, slow up, wrist stays engaged, body unlocks about halfway through. This is what it looks like if your hands are unloaded on the basketball. Your wrists would be either straight or curved forward. This means as you come up through your shot, you're going to have to flip your wrist backwards sometime during your lift, which is not ideal. Instead, we want to catch the ball so our hands are loaded. We want a little bit of wrinkles on the inside of our wrist here, not on both sides of our wrist, but on the inside. Now, our hands can stay connected, our hands can stay loaded all the way up through our lift, and we don't have to change anything or flip to get under the ball because we already live under it. The third most common problem that could be coming up in your shot is this. I call it opposing forces, where the ball is moving up while your hips are sinking down. This causes a disconnect in our energy. My force in my hips are going down, but the force of the ball is moving up. That means by the time you connect the floor to your power, the ball is already up here and you're not getting any of this momentum that you're building up from low. This disrupts our power, makes our power really inconsistent, which then messes with our accuracy. All of that is no bueno. So here's how you're gonna fix it, is you are going to allow your ball and your hips to load down together in your loading phase. So as you are catching the ball and hips are loading down, and then ball will still lead you up. Let's look at a couple of drills that'll help us fix this. The first drill we're gonna use to help our ball and our hips move in the same direction is called slow flows. This is one of my favorite exercises. All we're gonna do is shoot this basketball as slowly as we possibly can while focusing on ball and hips loading down together. So you're gonna flow down, ball moves, flow up, shooting as slowly as you can while still getting a made shot. So ball and hips go down together, you are flowing down, ball moves, flow up, okay, shooting as slowly as you can. This will help our load phase before we get into our explode phase connect to each other rather than being disconnected from each other. Once slow flows feel pretty good for you, you can graduate to something I call wall rhythm shots. You're gonna use the biggest wall you can find. If you don't have a wall, you could use the backboard, but you are going to shoot the ball up, time your footwork to the bounce, and then see if you can catch your loading phase in the right and correct way with ball and hips loading down together. Let me show you what that looks like. So part of this exercise is also working on your timing of your catch. Can you catch with elite footwork, getting ball and hips to go down together, ball in the air, feet in the air is what we're gonna go for here. So you're gonna toss the ball up against the wall, time it to go ball and hips down together, and try and hit the same spot on the wall every time. Sometimes you're gonna have to back up, but ultimately we're just working on our load to explode phase and now timing ball in the air, feet in the air, so that ball and hips can go down together. Those are wall rhythm shots. The fourth and final most common problem that you're likely having in your shot is something I call crushing the egg. I want you to pretend in your shooting arm that you had an egg right here. What a lot of young shooters do is as they're shooting the ball, as they're lifting the ball, they pull the ball into their chest, crushing that imaginary egg, and then they yeet the ball out at the basket. Instead, I want you to protect that egg on the way up. I want you to come with a lot of stability in this angle. Notice it doesn't have to be a 90-degree angle. A lot of us were taught that. That's not necessarily true. It can be less than that. You can hug the egg, you can give it a little love, but we don't want to crush the egg on the way up because that means we're pulling the ball away from the basket before restarting it back at the basket. Instead, we want all of our energy to flow vertically and then out at the basket. And one exercise you can do to help you find a way not to crush the egg is called Larry Birds. You're actually gonna position yourself behind the backboard. And if you're gonna position yourself behind the backboard, if you come into your chest to shoot these are gonna be dang near impossible to make if you crush the egg. And so instead, you're gonna keep a really stable angle of this arm. See if you can get the ball raised with high hands going over the backboard and dropping into the rim. If you bring the ball into your chest, what you're probably going to do is shoot the ball over the rim or behind the rim, or not be able to achieve the angle that we need to make sure that we can make these shots. This is us using the backboard as an external measure of feedback, forcing our body to do the thing we needed to do to make these shots. So if you only have 10 minutes to fix your jumper, I can guarantee you that one of those 4 issues we just went over is probably what's causing your shooting woes. So the drills you can use to help you figure out what it is 1, line drops to fix your alignment. 2 is in and ups to fix your wrist loading. 3 are slow flows to fix your ball and your hips, making sure they're going in the correct direction. Larry Birds from behind the backboard to make sure we're not crushing the egg. My name is Brianna Joy Garza. I'm a professional shooting coach and creator of the Shooter Shoot Training app. If you want more exercises or custom one-on-one planning from me, you can check that out in the Shooter Shoot Training app or on our website. We'll link here. If you got any value out of this video, please like and subscribe and comment down below what your biggest shooting problem is, and maybe your problem will be featured in our next video.